If it ain't DC, I don't think it's gonna do that. Telling y'all when you need this DC and when you don't. Warning, this video may make you addicted to bass fishing. This channel is not responsible for failed relationships, overspending on gear and boats, calling in sick to work, and possibly losing your job. We forego any responsibility for any loss because of your addiction. Got him. That's a toad too. That's a toad too. Alright y'all, it's your boy Deuce. I'm here with a 2-year review of the Shimano Curado Dc 201HG. It's a 7:4:1 gear ratio. It's got 6+1 bearings. I'll throw all that up here in a minute. But for right now, let's get this thing out the box. First impressions on this reel 2 years ago was I liked the way it looked out the box. I like the way the DC's a little lighter. It's 8.1 ounces, really light. And of course it's got that Shimano smoothness. I fished this on a bunch of different rods, a bunch of different techniques over the 2 years we've had it. And I've come to realize one thing, and I'm gonna let y'all know a little bit later on in the video what that is. Right now we're gonna go over a couple of details about it. Just like these grips right here, they feel really good in the hand. They're pretty sticky. They're really ergonomical with this design, and I see why they put them on a bunch of their reels. And of course, you get that Shimano smoothness. I don't see how they do what they do with less bearings than everybody else, but yet somehow their reels, I feel like, comes out smoother than the other companies sometimes. I'll tell you a feature that they put on this one that I really like. Even though it's a solid spool, they put that one little hole in there. That way you can just jam your line right through the eye of the worm and into the spool and just take off reeling. You don't have to worry about tying it up. You have 3 external brake settings. There's 12 pounds of drag. I don't even know what the 12 pounds of drag mean, but at least you got it if you need it. These brakes are super hard. That's what she said. Alright, the case of this reel's super durable. Like I said, I've been fishing it hardcore pretty much for 2 years, and you can barely even tell it's been out on the water. I don't exactly know what they're made out of, but these 3 little spots in it, I'm going to show y'all in a little bit what to do with that towards the end of the video. But the reason why I think the DC shines and where you could probably do without it is, of course, this thing will help you cast a country mile. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, I got a Tatula sitting over there, T-Wing system, SV103 TW. And I tell y'all right now, I can just about cast that thing just as far, and it ain't a DC. I wound up using this thing on my deep divers, and I'm talking real deep divers. When I say deep diver, I'm saying anything over 10 foot, down usually about 25. That's about as deep as I'll crank. As we look a little further at the reel, you know, there's a couple of hidden screws on one side where you can take it apart. I'm not going to get into all that though, but we're going to flip this thing over right here. And I'm going to show y'all how to take this side cover off to get your spool out. Then you have to flip this brake to free. Then you take the back of the reel and you push it up a little bit. And that lets you into the business. That's right here is where all the magic happens. Y'all know DC stands for digital control. And what happens is there's like little brushes in there like an alternator. And when the inertia of you throwing the bait kicks up that spool, it fires up a little alternator, which is the reason why these things don't take batteries. And there's a little computer module in there that tells this spool when to slow down at the end of your cast. I mean, it's really a brilliant design, but I'm going to tell y'all in just a minute where it shines. I'm not going to take this reel all the way apart. I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't know them, and you're watching my video and you want to see somebody that really knows what they're doing taking a reel apart, go look up Debo's Fishing, because I won't do it no more. Like, I took a reel apart one time and I That thing never acted the same once I put it back together. As I was saying a while ago, y'all, I landed on using this thing for my deep cranks. And that's because, I mean, if y'all fish deep cranks, y'all know that you really got to get that thing out there to get the bait down in the strike zone longer. So it just made sense, 2 and 2, about the DC. So, yeah, I mean, it does make it easier. I can flip that bait out there further without more effort, let's say, for longer during the day when I'm deep cranking. But I'm going to tell y'all, forget all the teasing. I'm going to tell y'all right now where I think this thing really shines at. And that's when you get out there after fishing this thing and cranking with it. And a lot of times, you know, you won't use a slow moving bait when it's real windy. You'll use something moving, spinnerbait, crankbait, chatterbait. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, this thing will get it out there a country mile. But where it really shines at is when you're casting into the wind. And I mean big wind, like, you know, up to 10 mile an hour is fine. I'll still throw something at the bottom. But when you're throwing something in over 10 mile per hour wind, this thing right here makes it a breeze. Let's set this thing down while we interrupt y'all for a small fishing break. All right, guys, I don't know how long we can do this. It's windy. Ain't got a lot of batteries, so. It's pretty deep right here off this point. I've seen some fish on it. Got him. That's a toad, too. That's a toad, too. That's a toad, too. Yep, got him. Yes, sir. I'm telling y'all, the DC sure does help. Look at that. I'm telling y'all when you need this DC and when you don't. Seen that thing too. Not gonna get a weight on it. Nope. Look at that. She is cold too, bro. Thank you so much, girl. Thank you so much for getting that for Daddy. Welcome back to our regularly scheduled review. As bad as Shimano might not want me to tell people this, if you don't have that heavy wind, I really don't feel like you need the DC. This is well, it's $129 now, but it was $99 back when I bought it 5 or 6 years ago. And this thing right here is smooth, just like that reel. It's got plenty of braking. It'll get it out there a country mile. Like, this is a good reel if you don't have the extra $170, $80 to spend on the DC. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, now that I have one and I've used it for a while, like, I understand. But if you're a veteran bait caster, I think the only time you really need this thing is in a straight gusty wind. Like, I was out here this day throwing the deep diving crankbait off these deep points, and I was whipping this thing in 15 to 18 mile an hour winds, 150 plus yards towards the bank. I don't think you can do that with a regular bait caster. But on the other hand, if you were just getting into it, I could see where this thing would help you out a lot, not having to worry so much about the backlashing. And don't get me wrong, I think this thing is still backlash if you're not aware of what's going on. Like, you know, if you pull up to a bridge and throw this thing at the bridge and mid-cast you hit the pylon, I mean, you're still going to bird's nest. It's not going to stop that. But if you need to go out there and toss this a bait like this deep diving crankbait at the bank in 15, 18 mile per hour winds, I say this thing's pretty pivotal. If you fish tournaments, or if you're just an average weekend warrior, if you go out there on a windy day, you might need one of these things to fit into your arsenal to help you out. I got the 200 size because it's what they had in stock, but I got really big hands. My boys always make fun of me. They say every time I post a picture, they're like, let's give Brian a hand, gorilla hands, you know, whatever. Toting bricks. This thing fits my hand really well. I really love the fit and finish of this thing. It's got a silver with some green and gold accents. If you're a gear nut like me, you'll really get into the colors on this thing. All in all, like I say, this thing, there's really nothing wrong with it besides the price. You know, almost $300 or close to $300 of tax. I mean, I could also see where this would help somebody first getting into a bait caster. But a lot of us getting into a bait caster ain't gonna have $300 to plop on this thing. And let me show y'all how to keep this thing running smooth. I'm gonna take a little bit of this real butter right here. We're gonna pop it in them 3 holes that I told y'all about earlier, just to kind of keep things greased up. You know, if you do a little maintenance on your reel and, you know, you treat them right, you don't beat them to death, you know, these things will last a really, really long time. Like that SLX over there, I just told you I've had that thing 5 or 6 years. I still throw it on a rod and use it. Another thing is, I was telling y'all earlier, I seen some of those fish out on the water. And it's when you fishing this time of year, really any time of year with a deep diving crankbait, you need to get you one of them depth finders back there. You don't really need forward-facing sonar just starting out, any live imaging, but depth finder with some side or some down can really help you locate the fish in the wintertime or anytime you going after the deep fish. If y'all finding any kind of value in these videos, and we want to keep bringing them to you, it would really help us out if you guys would smash that subscribe button, like, share, comment, do all that good stuff, and watch one of these videos right here because YouTube's recommending it. Y'all remember to get somebody out there fishing, get your hook wet, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.